words that come forth in this house. You really don't even need a preacher. But the word says that we are to have a preacher, a apostle. But the great words that Ma J and Brianna shared this morning was so good. Because this is how I want to tie this in. If you go back and read the scripture, it tells us to put off and put on. That means there is an exchange of clothing. In fact, it uses the analogy, take off the old and put on the new. These teachings that I have been teaching, we're on number 8 right now. You're on parts of attire that you're supposed to be putting on. The enthusiasm may have been a necklace. Okay? The self-control or self-discipline may have been your socks. Okay? You get to choose. But I am not telling you things or sharing things with you that's informational only. I am telling you this is the attire that you are supposed to. No, let me rephrase this. This is the attire you will have to put on to be successful. Y'all ready for this now? Listen to me. Any of the attire that I present and you don't like it, you're going to have a problem. Hello? Y'all hear me? Any attire, there is attire that is not optional. I don't need to go too deep, right? There are certain attire that is not optional. I'm giving you undergarments to success. Oh, y'all not hearing what I'm saying. I'm giving you undergarments to your success because you can wear something, but if you don't have the proper undergarments on, hello. So good. Look at the person beside you and say, it is my duty. It is my obligation. It is my ethical responsibility to be a successful leader. Not optional, it's not a choice. If it is a choice or an option, it gets you into places you don't want to be or places you wish you would have never traveled. And the goal here is to help you pull all the resources that God's given you so you can impact the world around you. Our goal here is to impact the world. So we're going to read Joshua 1, 2 through 10. How many times have we read this passage of Scripture? Well, by the end of the year, we will have quite a few numbers on this. Prepare to cross this Jordan River. And I have to keep saying this because sometimes we read this and miss it. You're going to have to, when you get ready to go swimming, you prepare to go swimming, right? What are some ways we prepare to go swimming or go to the pool or go to the beach? Sunscreen, towels, swimsuit. So you prepare. I'm not talking about just riding down and looking at it, but when you're going to the beach, you prepare to go to the beach. Jordan is transition. This river was in flood stage. In order to cross a flooded, roaring, raging river, you're going to prepare to cross it. And some of us will decide, I'm not crossing that. What is the purpose? Because what's on the other side is not where you are. So you're going to have to prepare to cross this Jordan River. Timothy and all the people. I know my name's in there, and you say, why do you put your name in there? Because where you're not living in this day and age, if you were living the time this was written, it would say Joshua, but you're not living in Joshua BC. You're living in Timothy AD right now because I'm in front of you. And someone's going to lead you. And if you don't think someone's going to lead you, then you wouldn't be learning this now because you would already know it. And because you don't know it, it shows you have to have someone to teach you. Come on. cross to the country I am giving you. Where what God's given you is not where you are. Oh, this is good. I can't even. What God has planned for you is not where you are. What God's given you is not where you are. What He has in store for you is not where you are. You're going to have to prepare, and you're going to have to cross, and you're going to have to transition from where you are to where you want to go. I'm giving you every square inch of the land you set your foot on. Just as I promised, it's all yours. Just because it's yours doesn't mean you get to possess it. Just because it's yours, it doesn't mean you get to walk on it. You're going to have, because if you got to walk on it, it's not where you're walking now. What He has for you is not currently where you're walking. What He has for you is you're going to have to cross to a new territory to walk. This is so good. All your life, you got your whole life to cross. You got your whole life to prepare. You got your whole life to enjoy. You got your whole life. You know what Casey just did? He just prepared his daughter for success. Now, she didn't like the preparation. Huh? She didn't like the preparation, but the preparation is what... You're not going to like the preparation. You're not going to like the preparation. The preparation is not the fun, the ease, the joy. The preparation is the work that is required for you to do it. It's called discipline. Oh, wow, that's a good analogy. I'll be with you the same that I was with Jesus. I won't hold out against you, and no one can stand against you. I won't give up on you. I won't leave you. Strength and courage. You're going to need strength and courage because you're going to want to quit. You're going to need strength and courage because you're going to be disappointed. You're going to be strength and courage because you're going to run out of fuel. You're going to need strength and courage because you're going to have to swim against the flow. Now, there's some analogies coming, but it will rabbit trail me. So I don't know if that's Holy Spirit or what. You're going to lead these people to inherit the land that I promised to give their ancestors. You're going to lead these people. Give it everything you have, heart and soul. Make sure you carry out the revelation that God commanded you, every bit of it. Don't get off track either to the left or the right, so as to make sure you get to where you're going. See, you want to go, but sometimes it's hard to get to that destination. And you need people to help you with that destination. Sarah is helping me get to a destination. You're helping me. Thank you for helping me get to that destination, because what she's doing, I don't do, and that's her gift set and her skill set, and we pay her to help us get to that destination. So as to make sure you get to where you're going and possess overwhelmingly success in everything you undertake. And don't for a minute let this book of Revelation be out of mind. Ponder and meditate on it day and night, making sure you practice. Making sure you practice. Practice, 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 practice everything written in it. Then you'll get to where you're going. You get the results after you practice. Then you will enjoy incredible prosperity and success after you practice. Haven't I commanded you strength and courage? You go want to quit. You go want to give up. You go get wounded. You go get offended. You go get pissed off. You're going to get mad. You're going to beat yourself up. You go want to be a victim. You go want to cry. You go want to pout. You go want to just lay in bed and don't want to get up. You go want to emotionally eat. You go want to do everything you're not supposed to do. So don't be timid. Don't get discouraged. Abba, your Papa, is with you every step you take. Jesus said to them, what do you mean if? I know I'm capable of doing this, but this isn't about me. If you can believe it, you can have it. So my question to you, what really do you believe you are, and what do you really believe you're going to accomplish? It's up to you. It's not up to Jesus. Jesus saved you. He gave you a insurance plan. I don't know what you're going to do with your life. Your life may suck or your life may be a blessing. Either way, I'm going to make sure at the end you get to heaven if you believe on me. But I'm not going to make you successful on earth. That's your choosing. That's your selection. You heard the song, put on, put off. You're going to have to take off things that make you unsuccessful and put on things that make you successful. That's spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Hello? So all this is about making your life count. And how do we make your life count? You've got to use the resources that God's put in you and given you, and to make you dream, and your life will impact the world. So we're on part 2, last one here, on going the extra mile. And we'd really go drill down in and go in on this. When we were talking about Haley, the instructor said, I want to encourage you, it's an incentive. You don't have to, but anybody who goes out and creates a Roth IRA, I will match the funds. Now, how many students were in your class? Okay, but it was for others. So 20 people heard here's my incentive, here's my instructions. You're going to have to go out and set your foot in a bank. You're going to have to go somewhere. You're going to have to not go to the coffee house, but go to the bank. You're going to have to go to the bank and not to the gym. You're going to have to go. It's not permanent, but one time you're going to have to make a decision to go and take a Roth IRA out, and I'm going to match it. Only 6 out of 20 did. Now, he didn't tell her how much money to put into it. No, what did he tell them? Okay, I'm tying all this together here. Go back to the scripture. Give it everything you got. The thing to have done would be, if I'm correct in what she said, she had an old savings account and she took everything that was in it. Now, she could have opened it with 50. She could have opened it with 100. I'm going to give you some teachable moments right here. She did take what she had, but she could have also said, hey, Mom and Dad, hey, Grandma and Grandpa, someone's about to double my money. Would you like, if you help me, I'll give you some money back on this. That's called invest in me and you go get a return. So she could have gathered up 5 or 6 people and put in $2,000, and he would have added 2, and you would have went to $4,000, and then you could have took some money, because you can take it out. You could took some money and pay everybody back and still had in the thousands, because you learned how to take people's investments and turn it into money. No, not helping me. What do you think the credit cards do? They take your money, your insurance, and they have $100 million, and they're investing your money, making money, and then when you have an accident, they take the money that they made, not the money you gave them, and they're giving you little peas and little dividends on your money, and they're making hundreds of millions off your money. You don't think about it, but take your interest on your credit card. Let's say it's $50 a month. You have to help me. $50 a month, and 1 million people have $50 a month interest. How much is 50 times 1 million? 50 million. They made $50 million by loaning out money, and they're not even working. And that's just with 1 million people. Hello. You can do it if you believe you can. This is so big, going back to this whole thing I've been teaching on image and all that. You've got to believe you can. You got to believe it's in you. You got to see yourself as God sees you in the way He created you. It says no one will be able to stand against you. You have a plan that cannot fail. Now, we're looking spiritual, but what I'm giving you, I'm tying all this in biblically and show you, because you say, well, that's not in the Word. There's nothing I'm teaching you that's not in the Word. If anybody comes up and says, well, that's not in the Word, I'm going to look and say, you don't know the Word. People tell me sometimes, they say, you talk about money. Jesus talked about money more than anything else. Jesus, go study your Bible. He talked about money more than any other subject in the Bible. Well, I just want to talk about Jesus. Well, why didn't Jesus want to talk about Jesus? You want to talk about Jesus more than Jesus talked about Jesus. Jesus said, remember in Luke 16, he says, I want you to be just like the crooked manager, except I want you to do their shrewdness for me. See, that would have been shrewd for, that word would have been shrewd for Haley to go and get 10 people to give her another $100, and she added more, and that would have been, that's called shrewd. That's called business-minded. So this going the extra mile is so big. It is doing more than you get paid for. Hello, let's talk for a minute. This thing is all over me this morning. See, Jesus saved you, but you don't want to give any worship. That's interest. Jesus saved you and gave you a place in heaven, but you don't want to give any dividends. You want the benefits of salvation, but you don't want to give anything to it. Going the extra mile is, I don't need to be told to raise my hands. I don't need to be told to worship. I don't need to be told to go to church. I don't need mom and dad to tell me to get out of bed to go to work. I don't need someone to tell me to brush my hair, comb my hair, brush my teeth. I don't need someone to tell me that. That's part of who I am to be a successful person. Going the extra mile is not a practice principle. It is a state of mind. It's like excellence. Excellence is not, well, so-and-so is excellence. I'm just not excellence like that. No, it's a habit. The same thing that is laziness is a habit, that promptness is a habit. That excellence is a habit, that sloppiness is a habit. That manicured is a habit, that unkept is a habit. These are habits that if you do it, they become a part of your makeup, that I don't have to think about doing my best. I can only give you my best. Jesus don't say, now, Father, do you want me to give my best today or what? No, he's going to give his best today because he is the best, and everything that emulates from me is my best. This is my best. You're always getting my best version. And then people will say, well, I just can't live up. Get into the habit of living up. Getting in the habit of giving your best. Getting into the habit. Now, I'm like, hey, let's go somewhere. But my wife is totally different. I'm like, hey, let's go somewhere. I wish you would have told me earlier. I said, but let's just go. Well, I've got to go take a shower, and I've got to put makeup on. And I said, that's an hour and a half. Should have told me earlier. She will not go with me on the spur of the moment to go somewhere in public unless she has prepped herself to go. That's a habit. Now, I know some of us don't have that habit. We just go out. I don't care what people look like or how people. That's your problem. Because I'm going to show you, you will run into the person you didn't want to run into. You'll run into Jesus when you didn't expect him. You'll run into the entrepreneur. You'll run into the CEO. You'll run into the person you're going to be going for an interview next week. You're going to run right into them, and they're like, oh, goodness. And then your diseases go kick in. Gooseitis. See, you got to get the habit that everything you do is excellent. When you cut grass, it's excellent. When you cook, it's excellent. When everything, it's part of your DNA. It is not a principle that you activate and there's an on and off button. You can't cut Jesus on and off. So Proverbs 22:29. You have it in your paperwork. Do you see a man diligent and skillful in his business? Do you see a man? Do you see a woman who is diligent and skillful in his business? Not God's business, in his business. He will stand before kings. See, your diligence in excellence, your diligence in what you going the extra mile, and your skill in this is so good, you will stand before kings. This doesn't necessarily mean kings like presidents. It can be anybody in places of authority. See, the reason you don't know anybody is because you don't talk to anybody. I did something the other day I don't do very often, and I started doing it more and more. I went somewhere to, I was in Sam's, and I went in there, and someone sitting at a table alone. I heard a little bit of conversation prior to sitting down, and I walked up to the individual, and I said, would you mind if I sit down and talk to you? Now, I'm going to tell you something. That requires you to really come out of your comfort zone to go to a stranger that's eating and saying, hey, would you mind if I sit down and talk to you? See, I can sit by myself. See, that's what you prefer to do. Just, I'm going to get you a shirt just like this. Scroller. Scrollette and scroller. So the scroller needs to marry a scrollette. And then you have a bunch of little scrollees running around. Oh, goodness. Do you understand what I'm saying? Your diligence will make room for you to do great things. It's going to take you places. Because this is the thing. Do not be delusional. You cannot reap where you do not sow. You do not get to reap where you do not sow on this. So this is a little bit of review. So remember, because I've been out a few weeks, reasons why we should develop the habit of going the extra mile and performing more service than what you are paid for. Why do we want to do this? One, it gives you a reputation. Right here in this room, everybody pause for a minute. Right here in this room, if you were to say, who would be the person, I'm going to open a restaurant. Who would be the person that I would want to come and to be on my team in my restaurant? Brianna? Daniel? No. Y'all got it. I would choose her for my finances and accounting, but not on my food. Because she has been diligent and skillful in that, but I wouldn't. Somebody said, well, just choose. No, you just want to choose people because you like people. Let me tell you something. Don't choose people because you like people. Choose people that can get the job done. Now, see, when I look at Haley now at 19, if I wanted someone 19, I'm looking for Haley. See, you don't realize that everything you do when you walk through these doors and you interact with people, someone's looking at you. They're looking at your smile. They're looking at your attitude. They're looking at your personality. They look at how you dress. They look at if your hair is combed or not. They're looking if it's greasy. They're looking if you got little crusty things in your eyes. They're looking if you got, hey, talk to me. They're looking if you got hair growing out your ears. They're looking if you got hair growing out your nose. They're looking to see if your legs are shaped. It's not that they're tearing you apart. It's just that they see that. Listen, I don't want a secretary working for me with hairy legs. Sorry. I don't want a secretary sitting at my desk when customers are coming in, reaching for something, and there's hair under her arm. I'm sorry you get to do that. It's just I don't want that in my team. Hello? You get to do whatever you want, but just remember that the people around you get to select what they want. Just because you need a lot of patchouli to cover up because you don't wear deodorant, listen to me, that's okay. Oh, y'all know what I'm talking about. There's those people that just love patchouli. No, it's just they're naturalists. So one, the reason we go the extra mile is because we want a reputation that they always deliver. They always deliver. Sarah was texting me at 9 o'clock last night. No, I'm fine with that. Make it happen. I'm not on a Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. Let's get the thing done and rolling. My favorite thing is when people, I'll make it happen. That's all I need to hear. I will make it happen. I pay for make it happen. I don't pay when I get to it. The second thing is every time you have an opportunity to go the extra mile, you are demonstrating and developing your skill. I wish someone would ask me. You don't have to have anybody to ask you. If you have the habit of going the extra mile, you're always on display for people to see what you're capable of. And therefore, when they need something, they will call on you because you have demonstrated the competency and the efficiency and the effectiveness of what you do. I like this if nobody else. So not only is the reasons why I go the extra mile, but I like the rewards. Jesus says, you know what Jesus said about the cross? He says, I'm going to the cross for the reward. Did you hear what I said? Well, Jesus just loves me. Yeah, he did. But it wasn't the reward of you loving him. What was the reward? I'm going to give you a little just different little perspective of Jesus for a moment. Jesus says, I bear and endure the cross for the reward. What was the reward? He was going to sit at the right hand of the Father, and his name was going to be the name above all names. Not you. Not you. You were created. Listen, it said, let us. What does let? Let is a singular or plural? Let us. It's not, that is two plural. Let us. That is two plurals. Let us create in our image. You were created in his image. He loved you. But when it was time of going to the cross, the Father says, I'm going to put you above all names. Heaven, earth, and under the earth will bow. There will be no name above your name. That was his reward. It wasn't so you could just get to heaven. Let me back this up. Let's just go down this little pathway a little bit here. Y'all with me? It wasn't so that you would get to heaven. He didn't. Y'all listen to me what I'm about to tell you here. This is just coming to me as I'm talking to you. Jesus did not die so you could get to heaven. Because if he was going to die so you would get to heaven, then he would make it inclusive for everybody, whatever they say do to get to heaven. He died so that he could restore. In Genesis, he said, let us make man, woman, in our likeness and image. When Adam sinned, your light and your image was darkened and lost. When he died on the cross, he restored your likeness and your darkness back to its original intent, not to get you to heaven. You getting to heaven is your choice, not your entitlement. See, we think because we were created in his image, we're entitled to heaven. No, you're not entitled to heaven. You created in his image, you're entitled to think like him and act like him and have dominion over the earth. But when you got saved, Adam, you lost that through the sin, and sin entered the world. When you got saved, He restored your identity and your image back to the kingdom of God. Therefore, now you're the fourth part of the Godhead, and now you get to choose whether you want to go to heaven. And if you don't want to go to heaven, you don't have to go to heaven. And I frankly don't care whether you go to heaven. I'm not here to get you to heaven. It is your choice. I know that sounds a little like, wow, don't you care? Well, don't you care? What, should I care more than you care? I mean, let's be honest here. Should I care more about your success than you care about your own success? Should I care more about your children being raised productive and healthy and useful than you as a parent? Should I care more about your well-being and your health? Should I care more about you than you care about yourself? Me caring more about you getting saved will not get you saved. You have to come to a place in your life where you come to a revelation that you need God, not that I think you need God. How many people do you know think it would be good for you to be married to the opposite sex, but you think it would be good to marry to the same sex? I can't make you like the opposite sex if you're hung up on the same sex. I probably shouldn't say this, but you know what narcissism really is? It really is, I like me so much, I want to marry the same. I think I'm God's gift, so I want to marry another gift like me. It's all good. That's your choice. I don't have any issues with who you marry. Because I'm not God and this isn't my world. I'm here to be successful in it and to make it like Him. You get to sleep with, live with, go with, do what you want to do. You spend more time like this on your phone than you do like this reading the Word. That's all right. There's a difference between this and this. This is slow. This is fast. I've been away for a couple of weeks, and I can tell you right now. And you know what, Ms. Bree? I need you. I hit a button on that thing, and that thing went out. I'll tell you a funny little story while she's doing this. So I was in the bank the other day, and I had to draw some. This is a side note. So I'm in the bank the other day, and I went in there, and the lady that was in the bank doesn't have the best personality. I need to teach her my series here. But she didn't have the best. She didn't have a terrible. She just didn't have the best personality. So I'm in the bank, and I had to draw. I was going to transfer some funds, but I had to get some money out. And I said, how much money can I withdraw before I hit the threshold that I have to sign all this paperwork that I'm withdrawing this cash? Because I was going to withdraw a good sum of cash, and I wanted to transfer it somewhere. She says, I can't tell you that. And I said, well, why can't you tell me? She said, you tell me how much you want, and then we'll go from there. I said, no, I want to know how much money. Now, we got people all in the bank. I'm in the bank in the middle of the day. So I got these people in the bank. She says, I cannot tell you how much to withdraw before it initiates. You have to sign paperwork, because once you draw a certain amount of cash out or whatever, you have to sign paperwork that you're drawing it out. She said, it sounds to me like you're trying to keep the government from knowing what you're doing. She triggered me. She triggered me. I said, hey. Everybody in this bank. Everybody in this bank, look at me. Listen. That's what I did. I said, I do not want the government of the United States of this great America to be in any of my business and to know anything that I do. Yes, I am trying to avoid the government from knowing anything that I'm doing. And I said, now, we're going to do it this way. I'm going to give you a number, and if you pull out the paper, I'm going to drop it in $500 increments until you put the paper away. I win, you lose. That's how this game is played. It's my money. If I have to come back 3 different times, it's none of your business what I do. You didn't work. You didn't do anything for my money. Stay the hell out of my life. I don't want my money going to Ukraine. I don't want it to go to LGBTQ. I don't want it to go to Black Lives Matter. I don't want it to go to any organization other than where I want it to go. Now, you don't have to agree with any of that. You do what you want with your money. And I wasn't trying to be rude. I'm just saying, stay out of my life, and I promise to stay out of yours. And she just looked at me. So back to the twofold reason or reward for developing this habit of going the extra mile was, 1, there's a reward for greater material gain. For those who don't develop it, you will make more. Listen to me right now. Listen, everybody look at me. If you develop this one habit, you will make more money than anybody else that doesn't develop it. Did you hear what I just said? I can double your pay. If you'll follow this one thing, you will make more money than the person that doesn't develop it. Reason number 2, you get happiness, satisfaction, and confidence because you know you've gone the extra mile. See, to achieve, how many of you want to achieve something that you currently do not have? Raise your hand. This is a hand raiser. You want to achieve something you currently do not have. The reason you have not achieved what you want is because you have not yet acquired, developed, and have the skills and the knowledge to do it. So you cannot have what you want where you are until you develop the skills that can contain and sustain and get you to where you want to go. Because if you had the skill and the knowledge and the mindset to have that, you wouldn't raise your hand to say, I want to get that. You would already have that. See, you can have $10 million, but $10 million will not get you $100 million, because if you want $100 million, you got to have a different mindset for $100 million than you do for $10 million. And if you work for $15 an hour, you can never get the $25 an hour with a $15 mindset. Because if you want more money, you're going to have to do more. You're getting paid for what you're doing. And if you want more money, you're going to have to go the extra mile. Oh, this is so good. I'm preaching. I like it myself. I'm encouraged, as David said, I'm encouraging myself. I don't need you to encourage me. See, when we only do that in which we are paid, there is nothing out of the ordinary to attract favorability. Okay, let me show you. Casey, come stand right here. Now, he's up here every Sunday. Right here, just stand there. Okay, you look around. Tell the body, raise your hands and worship the Lord. Tell them. Okay, pause right there. Pause. Hold your hand wherever you are, up or down. Hold them. See, some people's hands are way up, some's halfway up, some's trying to get them up at the last moment because we said pause. Yeah, that's what it's like. This is I'm not into it. This is I'm halfway into it. This is I'm 2/3 into it. This is I'm into it. And then when you're like, hey, praise the Lord, why didn't anybody stand? Why didn't anybody go, woo? No. If you got the ticket to your favorite team, you'd be like, woo! But see, worship isn't your favorite act. No, I don't mean you. Worship, thank you. Worship, we're going to come back to you. Worship isn't your favorite activity. So what he wants now, he's up here. This is how it works. Listen to me. This is how it works. So Casey says, the church is 4 times this size now. Casey says, 2 or 3 people's leaving the team. Casey says, I need to add some people to my worship team. Guess who he's adding? Hello. Why can't I get on the worship team? Maybe if you would raise your hands sometimes. Maybe if you would act excited sometime. Maybe if you would stand without being told when everybody else is sitting, and that's who I want on my team. It works the same way in sports, the same way in work, the same way in customer service, the same way in restaurants. I would not put this person right here working the front desk with this attitude. In fact, I called the bank back and said, that girl's got a bad attitude. If I run into people that's got bad attitudes, I go to the managers and say, I'm just saying it's your business, but they bad attitude. See, God is looking for people that is going the extra mile. When we do more in going the extra mile, our attractions attract favorability. If you know anything about my wife, she's loud. When we go, and we're opposite, but she's loud. I think Lisa was with it. We go to a semi-pro baseball team, and they're giving away free pizzas. But they go to this part of the stand and this part of the stand. Okay, let's see who's the most excited. Woo-woo! And go over here. Woo-woo! And go over here where Diane is. Woo! She always wins the pizza. I can't go hungry. 3 nights in a row, she won, and who benefited? Everybody benefited from Loudy here, okay? And I like it. See, you benefit from people that know how to give everything they got. Are y'all understanding? This whole thing is about, it said in Joshua 1, give it everything you got, body, soul, and spirit. I want to tell you the reason your spiritual life is not running over is because you don't give it anything. The reason your job and everybody passes you and you don't get, I've been there 2 years and I got a raise. It's your personality and your attitude. It's no extra mileage. Your extra baggage. So see, going the extra mile, listen to me now. Going the extra mile, Sarah, will introduce you to a new law that is only introduced to certain people, and it is called the law of increasing returns. How many ever heard of the law of increasing returns? Okay? See, most of the people has never heard of it. You don't get the law of increasing returns until you do certain things that activate the law. What is it? Tell me, help me. We haven't got to the 8 keys yet. They're coming. Huh? I'm in review mode. This is so good in review. We ain't got it. The law of increasing returns to work for you. See, most people hear and move on versus those people that think and assimilate before they move on. Listen to this. If this is not in your paperwork, you want to write this one down. How many of in here wants to be successful? Raise your hands. It's okay. Listen to me, Jada. Listen to me. Success. Everybody listen. If you've never been told this, I'm going to tell you right now. Very important. College degrees do not make you successful. Doctorate degrees do not make you successful. Marriage does not make you successful. Success is attracted. How you think I got her? Attraction. How did I get you? Huh? The uniform. Listen. Likes attract likes. You ever heard opposites attract? That's opposite attract. That's not true. If you really look at it, there are likes that are doing the attracting. It's not the opposites. Now we have differences, but we have our likes attract each other. Okay? Success must be attracted through understanding and application of the laws. The same way that the law of gravitation works, the laws of success work, the laws of increasing return. So therefore, I have to, when someone's going on a date or they're going on a job interview, don't you put your best foot forward to attract and hope that you are going to put down all the competition where you stand out. Going the extra mile puts you in a place where you stand out that no one can't compete against you. I will stand out by this one law above everyone else that's not doing it. As Saul was head and shoulders, I will be head and shoulders, even though I'm 5'4". I can be 5'4" and be head and shoulders above everybody else by this law. And you can be 6'4" and be hidden by not obeying this law. Y'all not hearing what I'm saying? Now, it's good to have other attributes to help you out, but then that's called seduction. And we won't go into that. See, if you have to seduct your way into a job, you're going to have to seduct your way to stay in the job. But we won't go there. See, what I'm talking about here, Ms. Lisa, is that going the extra mile is my default. See, it's not a activated kick-in principle. You know, it's not like hit the brakes when you see a cop. This is an activated principle that is at work in me, that it is going all the time. Does that make sense? It's my default. It should. These things I'm teaching you are that you have to work them and practice them. It's like go back to Joshua 1. He said, practice this, do this, don't deviate. Why? This must become your default. It becomes your automatic, your second nature. It's like Job. He worship was the first thing. That was his default, being a worshiper. It's your default to go the extra mile every day. It is your default and should become where you go the extra mile for one person. So this morning, we're already at 11:44. Who have you already gone the extra mile for? I would say that it is Ma J's. Listen to me. It is Ma J. I heard Casey say the other day, and this wasn't morbid in any way, Ma J. He said, if there's one thing about Ma J that if she ever were to pass, it would be devastating because of her hugs. Listen to me. I don't care if you're 6 years old or 65 years old. Someone will cry when you die. But other than people crying when you die, you do not make an impact in their life. And you are forgotten. People will always say, when Ma J comes into church, she hugs. She goes the extra mile to hug everybody. Some of you go the extra mile never to speak. Instead of the law of increasing returns, you got the law of decreasing returns working for you. Oh. See, some of you have got the negative working on your side instead of the positive. Some of you got the world coming against you, making you a victim instead of being a victor. I'm glad y'all like this. I like it. So I've taught 8 keys, right? I'm not going to ask you to name all 8 keys, but you can go back and review, and you got all 8 keys because we're getting ready to move on. But I'm going to give you 4 keys out of the 8 keys real quick. We're not going into them. I'm going to give you 4 keys out of the 8. And these 4 keys out of the 8 will give you the most financial benefit out of all 8 of them thus far. Everybody say thus far. I don't know what thus means, but it's used. Y'all ready? Initiative. Initiative will bring you. If I was wanting to create a high-performing customer service team, the first person I'm looking for is someone that has initiative to always speak, always be kind, always be interacting with people. If you don't interact with people, you will never get a job. I can do that. No, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. You cannot. If you do not have the personality now to do it, you could develop it, but you're not ready for the team. Listen to this. I don't have time to talk to you about Buc-ee's. I'm not a Buc-ee's fan. Listen, Buc-ee's has all over their store, they have their wages. To be a Buc-ee's store owner, a store manager, $250,000 to manage a Buc-ee's store. The bathroom attendant, $40,000 to stand in the bathroom. Stall 6, please. Stall 7, stall 8, stall 10, stall. How do you make $40,000 being a bathroom? I could be a bathroom stall attendant. If I was going to work at Buc-ee's, I'd be glad to work there because I'm headed to store manager very, 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 very quickly. But see, if you go into Buc-ee's, it's like you dodging. It's busy. You cannot have a store manager over Buc-ee's that you do not have a Buc-ee's attitude and personality before you apply for it. You've got to be thinking above Buc-ee's to keep Buc-ee's afloat. How did Buc-ee's get so big? They come on the scene and ran everybody at Pilot, all these places that were the stop on I-4, on I-95, exit 160, 161, 162. It moves around. It used to be years ago, believe it or not, 50 years ago, it was south of the border. That was the stop. Now it's a ghost town. Why? Because they failed to go the extra mile. And then 160, 161, it was Pilots and Fats Cafe and all that. Now it's a ghost town. And listen, Buc-ee's come into exit 170 by themselves and took it over. And now everybody goes to exit 170 and it is just like, it's busier than 10 Walmarts. Why is that? It's because they had excellence and they went the extra mile and they put it all together and they put a team to know how to manage it, and now they are the most successful it is just slammed, and that's where everybody wants to go. You attract success. They attract it. They attract it. They attract it. Did y'all get that point? See, what I'm telling you about, I don't remember rabbit trail. Initiative. Second thing is leadership. They initiated the Buc-ee's idea. They had leadership in place, and then they have enthusiasm. Welcome to Buc-ee's! Welcome, 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 welcome. Listen, if you can't do this, everybody look, if you can't go to church and say, God, I love you, don't go to Buc-ee's and get a job saying, welcome to Buc-ee's. If you go to Buc-ee's and get a job and say, welcome to Buc-ee's, and you go to church and you can't raise your hands, you're a hypocrite. You can be bought for something. If God paid you to raise your hands, hey, Jesus, I love you, but see, you can't do it out of your heart. You got to get paid to do it. So you got to have initiative, you got to have leadership. What's the next one? You got to have enthusiasm. Give it everything you got. And then the last one, you go to extra mile. These 4 things. If you take initiative, leadership, enthusiasm, and you go the extra mile, woo, my goodness, you got a 4-part recipe. You may not have all the pieces, but those 4, that's cornbread right there. See, most people are looking for an invitation to do something instead of discerning an opportunity. That's a good quote. Lord gave me that one this morning. I thank you, Lord. I thank you. That's a PT quote right there. Most people are looking for an invitation instead of discerning an opportunity. Yeah, one day when you're 30 years up and you go on Google and you type in that little quote, go pop up right there, PT. See, why is this so important to look for an opportunity? Why are we looking for an opportunity? Why are we looking for an opportunity? See, you're looking at opportunity. Once you understand what opportunities are, it's totally different, man. It's totally different. I'm not looking for people to call me. I'm giving stuff to people, so I'm demonstrating. Let me give you this thing. Why is the opportunity more? One, every time I have see an opportunity, I get to prove my ability. I get to prove my ability. That's good. And people, I get to showcase it. The second part of that, I get to practice. Every time I have an opportunity, not only am I proving, but my proving it is also giving me another practice moment. And then the third part of that is I gain recognition. Oh, we were at Disney. Did you see such and such? No, I haven't. See, you just gave me recognition. Because one, I proved my ability. Y'all with me? I proved my ability because every time I prove it, and if I get asked 100 times a day, I'm practicing 100 times a day. And because I practice 100 times a day and I'm looking for an opportunity, you're telling people about me. So I got recognition on top of free practice and giving you opportunity. Oh, no. Is this any good? Yes. My goodness. I know y'all want to hear about Jesus' death, burial, resurrection, the third day, rising, all that. I know that's what you want to hear about. I'm sure there's plenty of churches around here do that, and that's probably a good thing to go if you're not saved. But I'm an SS preacher, saved and successful. Instead of saved and broke. I better not get too far into all those acronyms. See, notice what I'm talking about here. Jesus, let me break this down and give you Bible. I know you've been talking, and I know how the religious folk. He talked for 45 minutes and never gave you a Bible verse. That's because you need a reference instead of knowing it. Jesus says, I'm going out of town for a little while, and when I go, I'm going to give Miss Shelley $100. And I'm going to give Cindy $300. And I'm going to give Alana $500. He came back. He said, Miss Shelley, give me an update. Here's your $100 back. Cindy, give me an update on the 300. Oh, I multiplied it 600. And then Alana says, oh, no. I doubled it, multiplied it 500. He took Miss Shelley's money. Now, y'all want to talk about equality for a moment? Would y'all like for me to go into equality and why equality is not a biblical concept? Oh. Well, everybody needs equality. No, they don't need equality. You attract equality. I'm going to show you this in a minute. I'm going to show you this. Because it says It says in Joshua 1, no man will be able to stand against you. I don't need equality if I got the equalizer on me, in me. Ha! He took, how dare God, Jesus loves everybody. He took Michelet, took her money, and gave it to Cindy. What does the world say? That's not fair. He took the black person's money and gave it to the white person's money. And then he took the white person's money and gave it back to the black person. That's just how it worked out. He says, I'm not a respecter of person. Whoever can function under what I told you to function under, this will work. I will take it from the white, black, Hispanic. I will take it from the old, the ugly, the fat, the skinny. I will take it from the poor, the broke. I'm here with an agenda that you're going to function according to the kingdom and not to function according to what you feel is right. We good, Ma J, back like, whew, whew, whew. See, and once you understand how the kingdom works, there's no limitations. There's no competition. As much as I give it, the much I get. Are you following what I'm saying to you? Okay, so listen to this about the extra mile. This is so important here. We're good, 11:58. Y'all go give me a few more minutes, right? Listen, here's real key. Here's real key about going the extra mile that you got to be careful. You can't execute the extra mile agenda with a bad attitude. Well, I got to do it. Here. No. Listen to me. This is so key. If we render the extra mile service unwillingly, resentfully, and with a negative attitude, it cancels, voids, and neutralizes the results. That's the way God set it up. You don't get to have a bad attitude and get a reward. Even though it's kind of like the little girl that got spanked and the dad told her to sit down and she's sitting down and she had a frown on her face and the dad said, why do you have a frown? Well, I'm sitting down, but on the inside I'm standing up. See, you can't demonstrate the principle of going the extra mile when your face doesn't show it, your behavior doesn't show it, your eyes doesn't show it, your attitude doesn't show, and expect to go to the movies. Well, I did what you said, but you didn't do it with the right attitude. And I'm not after your behavior, I'm after your attitude. I have a whole different method of parenting. Listen to me, parents. Unless it was exceptional, I would never discipline my children or teenagers based on what they did. I would base it on their attitude. You don't have to do anything wrong. You don't have to smoke a cigarette. You don't have to do anything wrong. Your attitude, because your attitude is your heart, and that's going to determine everything you do in life.
That's right. Come on.
Okay. We talked initially about the definite chief aim, right? Let me tell you what most people's definite chief aim is, or definite chief purpose is. Going to work and getting a paycheck. That's it. Going to work and getting a paycheck. And you do exactly, I do everything they tell me to do at work. That's ordinary. It's when you can get there and you're sitting in the parking lot waiting. It's when they have to come to your cubicle in your office and say, hey, we're closing in 5 minutes. Can you give me 15? I got things to do. I have to always run Cindy out. And it's the same way in the church. It's, can I help? Can I help? Can I serve? Can I bless? Can I do this? No. Anything you need my help with, I'll do it. That's not it. That's not going the extra mile. It's coming in and discerning the opportunity to serve. It's coming in. Because listen, I'm not going to lie. We'll talk about this for a minute. Cindy makes the coffee. You can take that coffee and pour it in a cup, and you can tell whether Cindy makes the coffee. Well, how hard is that? You just put water in a pot and hit the button. It is a bigger difference because you don't know. If you watch her, it's got to be, is it an even top or is it a scooping top? Do you understand what I'm saying? There is a difference when someone does it. And if you want to learn how to make coffee and replace Cindy, you got to watch how she does it and then learn from someone else how to make it better than her. And then people start saying, your coffee is better than Cindy. And then Cindy's going to have to deal with whether she's going to be wounded or offended and go to another church because they don't like my coffee anymore. Or you can do like my wife with her cooking and she tell you everything but one thing. She'll give you the whole recipe, but she won't tell you the final little recipe. She said, I ain't giving all my secrets. She tell me all the time. She said, I'm not telling you all my secrets. She'll cook and all that, but when I'm not looking, she. Why? What's wrong with that woman? Okay, y'all ready to finalize this? There she comes. Okay, listen to these attributes. I want to give you some things. The return, listen to this. The return that I am talking about on developing success, the return that I am talking about, you cannot always be looking at money by itself. Okay? Money's going to come, but that can't be what you're totally looking at. So you got to be looking, it's going to come, but it doesn't come always immediately, and you've got to see this thing coming. So the first thing, I'm going to give you 10 things real quick. We're going to go through them real quick. The first one is compensation. In order to get compensated, you must give excellent service. How many of you have ever been to the restaurant and didn't like the service and you didn't tip? And how many of you have been and got excellent service and you tipped more than they should have gotten? Right. You get compensated in life based on your attitude, your personality, all these things I'm teaching you. You get compensated based on that. Second thing is, you gain favorable attention. And what you need, other people have, and when you have attention, people will give you. What Haley I brought out this morning, what did I do? What did Jada do this morning? She brought me 4. I don't know why she didn't bring me 6. I don't know why she didn't bring me 12. I asked her, how many did you make? I want to know how many did I actually get out of your batch. But she made 4. I don't know why 4, but she made 4 cookies out of scratch. It didn't come out the Toll House tube, right? No. Y'all listen. Listen. It didn't come out the squeeze tube, right? No, y'all don't understand what I'm trying to teach here. It would be excellent, not from my body, but it would be excellent to get 4 cookies from anybody. But she didn't give me 4 cookies from Harris Teeter where you squeeze it out and put it on a pan and put the oven in it and flip it up and bring them to me. She made them from scratch and brought them to me. And what did I call it? Favorable attention. She gained favorable attention from me because I shared them with Diane, I shared them with Cindy, I shared them with Heather. She had an excuse that she had gum in her mouth. But I offered, and then I don't know who else, and then I saw my wife in the kitchen trying to get another cookie. And then I recommended everybody to order cookies. That is called going the extra mile and getting favorable attention. Now you should be able to sell cookies in here for the dozen. She went the extra mile. Squeezing it out Toll House would have been good, but that wasn't the extra mile. The extra mile, something clicks in my mind. You did it out of scratch. From scratch, out of scratch, in scratch, scubala, whatever terms you want to use. You get the point. I appreciate that, and it does something. Listen, y'all got to get this. It does something for me with you that you would go the extra mile. Cindy came in the other day. She went somewhere, and she brought in a container from another lady who cooks the best banana pudding, but it was an event. It was a reunion, and she packaged up banana pudding homemade all the way from Brunswick County, South Brunswick, and brought me banana pudding. That's called favorable attraction. No. You know why we don't get favorable attraction? Because we don't pay attention to what comes out my mouth. Oh, that's got too many calories. No one's going to bring you Jack every time. Oh, I got to keep this. And it's got 500 calories. And this. I'm not bringing you nothing. Go eat a carrot. Go get you some hummus and a carrot. Give me banana pudding. I'm just saying. You get a victim. Nobody gives me something. It's because you open your mouth and say the wrong things. You can always re-gift it. Here. But no, I can't. I've eaten enough this week. No one cares what you ate this week. You're about to get a gift. Shut your mouth.
Preach it.
I'm telling you, this is how it works. You sabotage your blessings, and then when God wants to get, I don't know, she don't take anything. He don't take anything. They're always negative about anything.
Yes.
Bring me a red velvet cake. Bring me a 13-layer cake. Whatever you want to bring me in sweet. You don't eat sweets. Good. I have an anointing to break down sweets.
Yes.
Let me tell everybody, I am very proud of my weight this week. I know I put on 3 pounds. I'm happy. Just kidding. I lived a good life. That's all I got to say. Gaining favorable attention. You've got to have attention. You need what other people's got. You need other people's help. So compensation, just to reiterate, all things that come into your life, money, joy, happiness, harmony, recognition, tolerance, open-mindedness, this is all part of the compensation. It's not just money. Listen to this. Money does not mean you're successful. It just means you're enjoying your success. Now think about this. Haley, you're on it this morning. So Haley's 19 and going to France for a month. Most people's never been on vacation for a week. How does a 19 go on vacation and pay for it and you can't go on vacation? It's because of principles. It's because of saving, the habit of saving. It's because of definite chief aim. It's all these things come into place. If it can happen for a 19, it can happen for you. Well, my past, and, I went through this, and, I don't have a college degree. All these excuses. She doesn't have a college degree. She's working on it. What will distinguish you from the crowd? That's always been my thing. In church, what distinguishes you as a Christian? Does your worship? Does your smile? Does your kindness? Does your generosity? Does your hugs? What distinguishes you? You are supposed to be distinguishable in every area of your life. You should be distinguishable as a husband, distinguishable as a father, distinguishable as a mother, distinguishable as a friend, distinguishable as a neighbor, distinguishable. You are to stand out and be separated. We like that scripture. You are of the world, but not in the world. Be ye separated. We've taken that to the whole wrong point. We are separated, but no one wants to be separated with you. You're a miserable person. I want to be by someone who will bring me banana pudding. I want to be by someone who will bring me cookies. I want to be by someone who will mow my grass. I want to be by someone who will wash my car. I'm telling you, I've taught this and I hadn't taught in a long time. Hey, can I borrow your car? Absolutely, you can borrow my truck. Well, you bring the truck back and it's on empty. When you borrow someone's vehicle, you fill it up or you put gas back in it. You wash it. When you take it back, you're showing the extra mile. I so appreciate it. If you can't do that, go to Lowe's and rent it for $19.95 for 30 minutes. Going the extra mile is always blessing others. Number 3, become indispensable. Become indispensable. Here's a good question for you. Are you an indispensable person in this ministry? Hey, think about that. How indispensable are you to I don't care if you go to this church or another church. If I go to another church, I'm going to be the most valuable, indispensable person in that church. Do you know, whether you realize this or not, do you know that leaders, pastors, and worship leaders look for certain people in the congregation? Because you encourage them and you're there. You're not sitting there clipping your nails during worship, clipping your nails during preaching, and on your phone. When people see you on your phone in church, I don't care what you're doing. Do you know what message you're sending? I don't care. That's right. You don't. You said it just right. Out of your mouth, spoke it. It's in school. There are students. When I was at Cape Fear, students are back there on their phone while the instructor's talking. I would have the smallest class. Take your phone and go. You just got an F. Do they do Fs anymore? No, they don't do Fs. They do unsatisfactory. You can't fail anybody. Become indispensable. You have to do what others will not do. I know you're shutting down on me, but listen, you need to write down. You're going to want to know what you're supposed to be. I promise you, if you were paying $300 and sitting at a conference, you would be wanting to suck everything up. You'd have your phone with voicemail, and you'd be writing everything down. You want to become indispensable. How do I become indispensable? How do I become top of my class, the best? How do I become the teacher's pet? Yes. Yes. How do I become? I don't have a problem with that. How do I become that? I need that pettiness. When you become indispensable, you get paid more than average. Self-improvement, number 4. Going the extra mile hones and strengthens your stamina and skill. This is for Daniel. Daniel started running. So I don't know how many times he runs. Hey, Daniel, I'm going running today. You want to go with me? No, I don't want to go today. I ran yesterday. I'm just saying. I'm using this. No, I ran yesterday. No. If he is wanting to go the extra mile, sure, I'll run with you. He gets to hone his skill and work on cutting seconds off every time he has an opportunity to run. I you may only cut 1 second or a half a second off, but you're honing your skill and it strengthens your stamina. So in the last 3 minutes, you keep going. Every time self-improvement, I get better and better and better. So every time I have an opportunity, I will see it. Hey, PT, you want to run? Absolutely not. I don't want to run. I walk. I don't want to run. I don't want to cut down on any seconds. I'm happy. I try to eat right besides the banana pudding that other people bring me. I didn't make it. Listen, and the cookies, I appreciate it. But I do my thing, and I'm working on it. Listen, I'm beyond trying to be cute. Okay? I'm beyond trying to be cute. That's not my thing. I want to be healthy. I want to live, but I don't want my knees. I'm just saying, I don't want my knees replaced from banging on the concrete. I don't want any of that. That's fine. I have to choose a different method because I don't like pain. Because I would be 85 and smoking pot because I can't handle the pain. And then you'd be like, I can't believe he smokes pot. Number 4, self-improvement. Going the extra mile. Oh, I told you that. Hones and strengthens. Number 5, opportunity. The extra mile gives you security and the ability to select the work you do. When you seize the opportunity, it allows the people over you to let you select the work you want to do. It gives you favorable privilege. They'll come to you and say, we're getting ready to restructure everything. Where would you like to work? I'd like to work here. You got it. Because you've been extra miling it for so long, they come and give you a perk because you've been extra miling. And the people that rolls in at 8 o'clock and they like, it's 7:59 and 59 seconds. I'm here. Well, I'm not going to work because I don't get paid. That's fine. You'll never get paid no more than what you get either. I know what's going through some minds. Well, that's PT. No, I'm telling you it's not PT. I'm telling you it's the world out there. They just won't tell you what I'm telling you. Number 6, favorable contrast. This means that going the extra mile spotlights me and gives me the benefit over everybody around me without me having to compete. I'm head and shoulders. I'm head and shoulders above. I take it literally. You the head, not the tail. You above and not below. Is this helping anybody? Number 7. Oh, y'all don't want this one. Pleasing attitude. I work on this every day. Ask Casey. I have to keep Gino locked up and he's sticking his head out. But the pleasing attitude. Pleasing attitude. When we execute the extra mile willingly and cheerfully, we develop a positive, pleasing attitude. Listen, a pleasing attitude is the cornerstone of a pleasing personality. An attractive personality. Number 8, personal initiative. Pause. Tell me what the definition of initiative is.
Doing stuff without having to be told.
There you go. There you go. Now listen, we know maturity, right? Parents don't expect certain things with their children because of maturity. Doesn't mean they compromise. Casey and I have this conversation so many times. I do not like, when I say I do not like, I prefer Casey never to say, raise your hands and worship the Lord. You do not need to be told to raise your hands. It says, enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Him telling you to do it does not give you access to the gate. See, some of us is going to get the benefits of God by tagging along like Lot. Once someone tells you how to do something, I'm it. When worship starts, this is it right here. What's wrong with you? This is default. This is non-default. This is default. Default. It's doing what needs to be done without being told or asked. Number 9, self-confidence. Self-confidence builds your conviction. Builds your conviction that what you're doing is good and right. It gives you faith in yourself. It energizes your character. Number 10, going the extra mile overcomes procrastination. When you act as soon as you must, the habit of procrastination dies. Just do it. Okay? Y'all got the action steps. I need to show you 2 things here. Tempering steel. Y'all know what tempering steel is? Steel. You have steel. Okay? They take steel. Steel, you have tempered glass and everything. I want to just show you something here. I have it here. And the Lord gave me this morning about tempered steel. I'm going to read this to you because it's good. Tempering steel is a process that involves heating and cooling steel to develop its mechanical properties and to reduce brittleness. Meaning that when something is, even though it's steel and it has not been tempered, if you put this in a vise or if it come under great pressure, it would snap and break. That's why in tables and houses it's called tempered glass. It doesn't break and shatter and cut people. It goes into hundreds of little pieces to reduce damage. But this is what the Lord told me. He said, when you are tempered, it involves a process of expanding and contracting. And it develops your character properties. And it reduces woundedness and victimhood. So this is you. This is me. So what they do when they do steel, they take a torch and they heat it. And they heat this until, I'm not going to do it, they heat it until it is red. Now, as I'm heating this metal, it is expanding because of the heat. Now, see, how many of you will go into the fire? It says you will go into the fire, but you won't be burned. You'll go into the furnace and won't be burned. You take this, and when you take this, thank you. They heat it, so you're expanding. When you're under pressure, when you're in a storm, when you're in a shipwreck, all this, you're under stress, tension, and pressure. And then all of a sudden, it's quenched. It did work. They bring it back out. And you go back over. I don't want to do this again. Based on how many times this happens is based on what you're going to do in life. If you can't handle the criticism, if you can't handle the rejection, if you can't handle the attacks, if you can't handle the lies, you will not go through the process. So you just go and it goes back. Immediate quench. How many times do I have to do this? Until I get you to where you can handle the pressure that I'm going to put on you. Whatever is not tempered will shatter. So you can just temper this, and the rest of this will shatter. This is your lifelong process of success. You're going to go from here to here. From here to here. And most people, I ain't doing it. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. Will you throw Ben Hur up? You know the story of Ben-Hur? Ben-Hur, true, was put in slavery and was put in prison several thousand years ago in the Jesus era. And he was put on the ship chained to rowing. Listen to me. In the bottom of the ship, in the dungeon, rolling. Guess what got strengthened? Arnold. He was like this. Well, he was at the Colosseum. He was at the Colosseum. And it just happened that the chariot rider was not able to ride. And the owner of the chariot and of Ben-Hur, because he was a slave, said, you can do this. I need you to... See the divine timing? See, you've been in the boat. This is so unfair looking out the little windows. But you don't realize that you are being tempered for this moment when I bring you on the scene. They brought Ben-Hur, put him in the chariot, and he won the chariot race and gained his freedom, and he became the hero of Rome. I will make you format. I will make you into a great nation. And I'm going to give you influence. You got to leave separation. Remember that? Going back old school. You got to leave where you are to go where I'm taking you. Go back to Joshua 1 also. Once you leave, I'm going to give you a vision. I'm going to take you from the vision. I'm going to format you and arrange you. And then at that moment, you have the opportunity. You're seizing the opportunity that, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. And he was set on the chariot and won the race and gained his freedom and became the hero of Rome. I want to tell you that where you are, if you will allow the forging of a definite chief aim, habit of saving, I don't like it, it's a burn, a pleasing personality. I'm going to put enthusiasm in you. I'm going to put self-control in you. If you can hang in there, just stay the course. Stay the course, self-control. You got to see what God is doing in you and where He's taking you. I'm just happy. This is what I hear all the time. I'm just happy. I don't need money. I don't need a bigger house. I don't need this. And that is true, and there's nothing wrong with this. You just don't see hosting people that need help. You don't see hosting unwed mothers. You don't see property where you could build homes for people that's trying to get us. You have no vision because you're selfish and you don't want to go through anything for God to. This is how God knows whether you can do it. You do not get to go where God wants you to go unless you go through this. This is His process. Stand with me. Listen, this is your season. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. I hope and pray, and it is my deepest desire that my messages never condemn, never beat up, never make anyone feel bad. But it is neither my condition to make you walk out feeling like you're a bag of chips and all that either. You look into the mirror, see where you are, see the changes you got to make, and be willing to allow God to do what He needs to do for you to be overwhelmingly successful and prosperous in everything you do. In your marriage, in your relationships, in your job, in your neighborhood, in your friends, everywhere you go, in everything you do, you are to be a Ben-Hur. You are to impact. You are to be a hero. You are to be the father of fathers, the mother of mothers, the wives of wives, the parent of parents. your goal is not competition, but your goal is excellence. It is my obligation. It is my responsibility. It is my duty to be the most successful person in this room. It is my obligation to be the most successful Christian. Am I competing with you? No. But by me raising my hands without being told automatically eliminates about 2/3 of the people. Just that one action. By me saying, God, I love you and I praise you, that eliminates about 2/3 of the people. By me coming in and looking for an opportunity to serve, looking for an opportunity to be kind, looking for an opportunity to build up, an opportunity to share. Listen, Majay and Brianna are not the only two people in this house that can share a word. It's just they're the only two people that will step out in faith and use the opportunity. When you have a church of 500 and no one does it, it's not because there's no Bree and there's no Majay or there's no Lisa. It's because no one has a vision and they don't discern what God is saying. Those were great words that Majay and Brianna shared this morning. Wonderful words that encourage me and challenge me. God, I am not going to sit back anymore. I'm going to speak out. I'm going to share. I'm going to talk. This is it's your life. Here's the good news. Tell yourself, I am the driver of my vehicle. No one got here this morning except my wife, but no one got here because of me. I didn't drive you here. I didn't dress you. I didn't pick out your clothes. I didn't pick out your smile. I didn't pick out anything. You are what you are because you selected it. If you don't like it, change your selection process. Go the extra mile. I'm not going to walk in the church at 9:59. I'm going to walk in at 8:45 and go hug 10 people. I'm going to walk in and I'm going to go hang with Cindy and I'm going to learn how to make coffee because she's not going to get all the coffee credit. And Benita is not the only person. I got 2 arms. There is no way she's going to out-hug me. But if the attitude is not right in the hugging, come on, if the pleasing attitude's not right in the hug, you go to let go and she won't let you go. And you just like this. See, you're going to have to hang on a little longer when it's uncomfortable and they're going to want to let go. You just, I'm not letting you go. Come on. It is. You're going to have to be uncomfortable. You ever had someone to hug you and they hug you just a little bit too long and you're like, this is uncomfortable. And I hate this with men. Men will shake your hand and you're like, okay. I mean, come on. We don't need to hold hands for 2 minutes. I'm uncomfortable here for a moment. You're going to have to be uncomfortable to step out. Because then they're going to say, I tell you right now, and this is another one, men, this is a good Father's Day. If you don't have a grip on my hand that makes me go, don't shake my hand. Go shake all the women's hand. I want a handshake. I want you to leave where I can see fingerprints in my skin. Be a man. Be masculine. This is your day. This is your moment. This is your life. And you are the driver of it. So as we conclude secret number 8, get ready for secret number 9. Love you guys. Happy Father's Day to everyone.